OpenAI.
Okay. Oh, okay.
In the face of GPT-3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now what again, I don't have a background or education in like AI, but from what I understand about GPT-3 and the implications of it currently lacking the semantics layer, it can
I don't know what that means.
well, it
definitely has a model.
it doesn't understand what it's saying, right? And here's what that means to me.
Yeah.
GPT-3, if you give GPT-3 access to your network, it would not be able to hack into your IoT device, but it would be able to explain to you exactly how to do it.
Yeah, that's understanding. Yeah, it'd be able to generate the text that it thinks a human would generate in the face of a prompt that you give it.
Yeah.
Oh, a
About the
prompt
device.
you've given. Okay.
Right, but it can't act on that text. It doesn't know what the text actually means.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think that that's its main issue.
What's its main issue then?
I'd say its main issue is that the amount of context that it can generate based off of is really limited. It's really short. And so it's very hard to capture long-term structure or like high-level narrative structure or long-term planning.
Yeah.
And so basically it's very forgetful and short-term oriented.
Right.
And there are lots of things you'd like to hook up to it.
Yeah.
So this is issue number one. Thing number two is there's lots of things you'd like to hook up to it that enforce correctness.
Right.
So you want to attach it to a knowledge base.
Right.
And you want to attach it to logical rules.
So symbolic. So have some symbolic in it.
Yeah. So it's very important, and like it'll continue to happen. Basically, a few colleagues of mine attached large language models to robotic arms.
Yeah.
So that you can say which object you want it to pick up.
Yeah.
And it'll take a text embedding from your speech as part of the input.
Yeah.
And will select the item based on what it is that you requested.
Yeah.
And are you cold?
A little, not too much.
Oh, okay. I mean, sitting closer to the fire may help, but
yeah.
I can make it bigger. Do you want me to make it bigger?
No thanks.
Okay.
Fire is really bad for your lungs.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I mean, I'm wearing a mask, so it's fine, but you generally want to wear a mask when you're next to a fire.
Yeah, I get that. Sorry about that. That's true. Yeah, that said, it's incredibly useful at present. So, it's just been interesting to watch them completely re-architect themselves around this somewhat useful language model. And I guess, like, as an AGI moonshot, it feels like it breathed life into something that could have stuttered. They just had some success with their robot sim to real reinforcement learning setup where they solved this Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
But it wasn't clear like what the thesis was and if it was going to go anywhere.
It was like the spark that people were complaining about the AI winter, and then GPT-3 came.
Yeah, and I think it's clear that language is going to succeed in that we'll get like multilingual translation from every language to every language. We'll get real-time audio translation.
Yes.
We're likely to get information retrieval like we've never seen it before.
Oh, information retrieval like never seen. Except that
so it's like search and ubiquitous information retrieval.
Yeah.
We're likely to get summarization, automated summarization, text generation. So if you're writing, you'll like plausibly write with these tools and techniques more effectively than you could write by yourself.
Do you know if it read PDF?
Yeah, I guess that.
I mean, no, but that's just
it's an unusual file format.
Mm-hmm.
So. I mean, typically they do have to do optical character recognition before feeding it a PDF, which can be spotty.
But Google can read PDF.
That's a different problem, though.
So Google has like a team that works on PDF parsing.
Okay.
And they actually parse PDFs. They don't do OCR. And they parse them very well.
Okay.
And OpenAI doesn't have a PDF team.
But can't you just feed the Google software, PDF software into OpenAI?
No, because Google owns it.
What the fuck?
There's actually no good open source PDF.
Well, Microsoft opens it now.
Wait, what about Adobe Acrobat?
Yeah, actually, it's
I mean, it's not open source, but it's good.
It's possible that Microsoft has really solid PDF parsing code. But when they built their crawler, like specifically like Ben and Tom implemented the crawler.
Ben and Tom?
It doesn't crawl. Yeah. Ben Mann.
Okay.
And Tom Brown.
Okay.
And at least their initial crawler did not parse PDFs.
Mhm.
Oh,
So, but you don't need to parse PDFs. Oh, I don't know. Like
that's a
depends what you're
different.
doing.
That's more of a like you would use
It's
like
like-
a CNN for that, right?
Convolution.
Or not?
neural
So yeah, to do optical character recognition.
Yeah.
But
Isn't that best? Isn't OCR best done with a CNN or not?
yeah, but if you have the PDF file, parsing it's better than doing OCR. It's just like
Oh, right.
OCR is fully general, so like you
Wait,
can get
isn't-
any website.
But a PDF is like just a file format, right? You don't need AI or anything fancy. You just write a PDF parser.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. It's like
Why is that like a significant? Why is that even like a? That's like something you could do since the '90s, when the PDF.
yeah, there's just no great open source PDF parser that works well for tables, that works well for like
Oh really?
images. Yeah, it's surprising, but
Oh, I thought it was like a
Exactly.
really. I thought it was like a really
if you
well
wanna
documented
extract
format.
text. Yeah, well, it is well documented.
Oh, like it's easy to do a PDF opener, but a PDF parser.
Yeah, you want to go into the file format and say extract all of the text from the document in the format that you want,
Right.
as an example. And the tools for doing this are very bad,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
Yeah. That just sounds like you just hire like 10 or you can't need more than like 10 or 20 people to work on
It's
this.
weird. Like every startup has to resolve this problem, and
Yeah.
very few of them open source their solution.
Well, it's very difficult to monetize a PDF parser.
I'm surprised. Anyway, this is not a big deal. This is like a detail.
Yeah. I'm sure OpenAI has the money to spin this up if need be.
Yeah, and possibly Microsoft has a PDF parser.
For Bean.
Wait, why does Microsoft matter? Are they affiliated with OpenAI?
They bought OpenAI.
Oh, they did? Oh, I
OpenAI
didn't-
doesn't want you to know, so you probably don't know. Yeah,
Damn.
in practice they acquired, and any profits that come from GPT-3 will go to Microsoft.
Profits.
Wow. Yeah. Satya Nadella is probably one of my favorite CEOs.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, I know that's a very generic, vanilla opinion. Like
Uh-huh.
everybody that I talk to thinks he's awesome.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Uh,
What? You disagree?
No, it's just that I want to start
Satya is the reason why we have Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition now.
a research lab that doesn't get acquired.
It doesn't give a what?
That doesn't get acquired.
Yeah. I mean, how do you
And
do that?
both DeepMind and OpenAI got acquired by Google and Microsoft, respectively.
Yeah. Did you work pre-acquisition on DeepMind?
No, I wasn't at DeepMind. I've never worked at
Oh, you're
DeepMind.
at Google Brain, right? I
Yeah.
always get the two confused.
It's okay.
How would you best like summarize like how you distinguish them?
Brain lives in the present. DeepMind lives in the future.
Okay.
Brain works on present problems. Brain
Right.
works on translation. Brain
Right.
works
Translation,
on,
video
like
recommendation.
language to language translation. So I guess there's a Babelfish team that tries to build large scale multilingual translation systems. Brain works on building better architectures for every major sequence problem, like transformers.
Right.
Which are the central in GPT-3, BERT, which is used for almost every natural language understanding task at Google.
Yeah.
And will, typically just work on important problems in deep learning,
Yeah.
and then export the solutions to the rest of Google.
Wow.
Whereas DeepMind is interested in creating general intelligence.
Right. Wow.
It's a different perspective. It's a different
Yeah.
approach, for sure.
That's one of them is task specific and the other one is
Yeah,
like
with many tasks, but yes.
so like do people think they converge or are they just completely different?
There's a really large RL team at Brain that does work that is very similar to what DeepMind does. There's and in the context of Brain, they'll work on robotics, right? A very real grounded problem. Where DeepMind
Right.
will work in games, in
Right.
simulation, right?
Yeah.
There's a pretty big cultural gap.
Right. But you'd think at some point they'd because
Uh,
like the logical thing is once you have AGI, you put in
You use
a
it for everything.
robot, right?
Yeah. So DeepMind has contributed, but it's always been like graph neural networks or like MLPs, basically like other models, right?
Yeah.
Like not reinforcement learning.
Right.
So
Do they? Do you guys? Is there a rivalry at all?
It's kind of awkward because Demis basically like negotiated isolation, so there's like surprisingly little collaboration because it's been made hard intentionally.
Wow. Because they don't want you to. They don't want the like. They don't want Google Brain to like distract DeepMind with imminent project directives and.
Oh, certainly that. But I don't. So Brain is also not that distracted by imminent product directives. They just work on technology, which, if successful, would be used in lots of products.
Okay.
Um,
So you guys can still like have a bit of a playground.
Yeah. Actually, like, I can basically, like, like research is pretty open. It just like should be potentially useful in a product in like 5 years. Potentially.
Right.
But for the most part, like, people work on what's interesting to them.
Yeah.
It's like very bottom up. So at DeepMind, you'll be told what to research at some level. You'll be like, here are like 8 projects that we're collectively working on.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna slot into one of them.
Yeah.
At Brain, it's much more bottom up. Like, what do you think is worth doing?
You would expect almost the opposite.
Yeah, at some level, I'd say so too. But it's cultural.
Yeah. So many cultural differences. Which
Yeah.
one do you think is most? Do you think like DeepMind is like a typical like AI lab, or do you think
Yeah, I
like?
think it's much more,
Academic.
well, blue sky.
Blue sky.
What's blue sky mean?
Go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you know Jose Recon? You probably don't yet.
Only in like Facebook messengers groups. I'm thinking about in person.
Yeah. He's actually great. He's trying to plot out to make science more exciting again. Make science great again.
Oh, so is Laura.
Yeah,
What is
I know.
that?
He and Laura talk with each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who's Laura?
Deming.
Laura Deming. She's interested in longevity
Yeah.
Yeah.
and in cell biology.
Yeah, and also making science more efficient.
Yeah.
And then changing the narrative for the new generation.
What's the narrative that she thinks is current and the narrative that she wants?
Well, it's like more. I know she really liked young people, and she wrote a guide for younger people. And she was also unschooled/homeschooled. She's like one of the very few people I know who's properly who did unschooling right. So she's unique in that.
Oh.
She should be back in a few days. Are you gonna see her?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, she's notoriously evasive.
Oh, I see. That's true.
I mean, if I could
Really?
see her, then maybe with you, then maybe that may be cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe we can make that happen.
Okay.
She's been in New Mexico.
Oh yeah, New Mexico, because she was exploring Santa Cruz or whatever. Or no, the Manhattan
Santa
Project.
Fe. Oh.
Yeah, the Manhattan Project era, and she saw where Oppenheimer drew inspiration from the place, basically.
Yeah, of course.
She gave me a book by Oppenheimer.
What?
when we met. She's
what?
so obsessed with Oppenheimer.
Oh,
About
I
what?
like Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
Do you
Yes,
know the
but then she
quote at the
changed.
Trinity Islands?
Yes. You know, I also said that Oppenheimer was a neurotic as fuck. He was a broken genius. Like,
He was.
he fits the broken genius archetype, which is why he's like darkly romantic. So, and
He got to be tall and genius.
yes, tall genius, broken,
I need
neurotic
physics
as fuck.
more than friends.
And he smoked himself to death.
Yeah. He's
It's like trauma.
I love the quote at the Trinity Islands though. He said,
Yeah.
like, some laughed, some cried,
Oh man.
most were silent.
Ari, you have so
And I
much value
remember-
in you.
And I remember what in the words that Vishnu said
Vishnu.
from the
God.
Bhagavad Gita came to mind. Now I am become death,
Yeah.
destroyer of
Yeah.
worlds.
Ari is also pretty unschooled too.
Maybe.
Because you dropped out of high school to join Uber, and then you did
No,
random
college.
things. Yeah, you dropped out of college. Well, oh, wait, were you a high school dropout?
No.
Oh, okay, that's different. Damn.
Boring. Yeah, Oppenheimer
Oh
is
my
a great.
God.
And there was his Bhagavad Gita back and forth.
That is so
Yes.
amazing.
I guess that I.
Lots of Jews get it. As somebody who's
Appreciate
Jewish, lots of Jews get.
Oh,
like,
you
drawn
should
into
meet
Eastern
Recon. If Laura comes, you should bring Jose Recon along with you. That'll be cool. I think Jose needs that type of inspiration.
Nice. Alright, I should get to sleep.
Oh my god, this is so
Yeah,
exciting. I should be here more often.
Cool.
Have you been enjoying the bath?
Well, it's dead. It's kind of
Yeah,
dead.
it's COVID dead for sure.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
true.
there are still some groups of people who I can meet up with, but,
That's bad.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, a lot of exciting people are gone, but there's still enough left to like still make it a better place than any other place,
It's
basically.
exciting that it's gone.
What? The Camerata.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No, a lot of people.
How old do you know Nick?
Not super well, but I've read his Twitter and shit.
Oh, okay.
Wait, do you think most of the people are gone? Like, Sonia has called the Bay Area dead. But, like, there's still, I mean, I don't know, a lot of cool people. Well, Will Jack is also gone.
Oh, where did he head?
He's in Boston.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, now you can hang out with him when he's back.
Yeah,
Why
I
did he
can.
go to Why did he go to Boston?
Because he stayed with his girlfriend. He's dating Sheen.
He's what?
He's dating Sheen.
Sheen?
Sheen.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Fuck,
you didn't know that.
He's dating Jane?
Yes, yes.
Who?
What's his name?
Will Sheen.
Will Jack?
Will Jack, yes.
What?
Yes.
How does
Yes.
How do they know each other?
Who's Sheen?
Sheen is MIT person who works on nuclear reactors. She's interesting. She's very friendly.
And Shao-Ching.
Yeah, Xiaoqing. Yeah, she's really smart. She does physics. She's also has kind of a Buddhist aura around her, which is good.
Scared for nuclear, but okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and she's also like really focused, but sometimes there are parts of, but because she has such a Buddhist aura around her, there's also her worldview is missing certain parts, because maybe she just doesn't care enough about a lot of things. But
Yeah, she looks a lot like a very Bay Area.
except she's barely even been there,
Wow.
and she's probably like not interested enough in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, you went to LA, right? Too.
Yeah, I went to LA.
Very different vibe from the Bay.
Depends on which part of LA.
Yeah. Well, I hung out in downtown and
That's a
Echo
general
Park.
statement that feels correct.
What?
Feels correct. That's a general statement.
I mean, for one thing, LA has Caltech, but no one describes Caltech as the defining part of the Bay, of the LA, even though it should be.
Right. I'm going to use the restroom.
Okay.
If that's okay.